My most vivid memory of being out of place in a group setting was my mother's and stepdad's Christmas party in New York City. It was a black tie affair, and I, at the time, was living in an ashram. I'd come home for Christmas. I didn't grow up in New York, but my mom married my stepdad, who's always lived there. And I would be standing around talking with people about trying to fit in. Oh my God, it was crazy. Here I was like, so what do you do? What do you do? Like, yeah, I sit and meditate. And like, there's just like the eyes would glaze over and just be like, oh my God. So, that's like an extreme version of feeling out of place. And it can happen in many different ways and different levels of this as a highly sensitive person. We, as highly sensitive people, tend to, first of all, be sensitive, maybe are quiet and like depth. And so not everybody is on that wavelength. And so it can make you feel like there's something wrong with you, or that you're in the wrong place, or there's something that you need to change. A lot of times we'll end up taking it out on ourselves and start thinking, oh, I need to improve, or I need to up the pace, right? I remember thinking, I've got to find the one little sound bite that I can say to people like, oh yes, I do blah, blah, blah. And that would allow me to fit in. So it's me trying to fix myself instead of just noticing that this may not be the perfect environment for me. Now, that said, there are a million different environments, and we HSPs and non-HSPs alike are exposed to all of those different environments at different times. And it's good to be open to being uncomfortable and to being out of our depth or not in our perfect niche at times as well. But there's also value in seeking out environments that will be more conducive to your just natural trait. So other examples of environments that don't work so well for HSPs are like fast-paced workshops, chop, chop, let's get it done. High energy networking events, aggressive feedback settings. We are sensitive to feedback. We can take it in well, but we are sensitive to the energy and tone, and we can also attack ourselves as a result. So there may be many different situations where we may not feel like we really fit in, and maybe that's a good thing. If you contrast that with the relief that can happen for HSPs when we are finally around others who are sensitive, who do get it, who understand us because they're the same way. It's not that we have to always be around people who are highly sensitive to be okay. That would be very limiting. But having that as a reference point is extremely helpful, because it takes away this feeling of stigma almost that I'm weird, I'm different, I'm too quiet, too sensitive, too deep, or whatever. And just seeing that other people are similar and that I'm not alone is extremely empowering and allows me to accept myself as I am, and also accept other people the way they are. We're all different. And so that's also makes life interesting. But when you're around highly sensitive people, like in a group of highly sensitive people, you may notice that you don't have to shrink yourself. You don't have to brace yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. I recently have been moving more and more towards only highly sensitive people in my events. And I did the spring virtual retreat just recently. And it was like people I had never even met before were speaking in a way that just totally resonated with the way I like to be held and spoken to. I felt so safe. And I just remember that feeling. I remember saying, it's like, oh, it's so nice to just be around highly sensitive people. It's not that people who don't have this trait are some people I want to avoid. No, not necessarily that at all. It's just there's something special when you're around highly sensitive people by themselves, because it starts to bring out and resonate the part of you that you may be protecting or not showing as much. Another thing that can happen with HSPs is that we start to internalize the belief that we are not enough or we're too much. We need to change. And when you're around others who have the trait, then you may start to see that your tension eases because you start to see that you're not alone, that there's nothing abnormal about it, that it's okay to be the way you are. It's not like, it's not just me. There's not something wrong with me. Also, I find that being in a highly sensitive community is very helpful for when you're doing inner work. Inner work means going into the inner parts of yourself, the parts that you may not even be aware of, the parts that are on autopilot or have gotten stressed or you're peeling the onion, as they say, and finding deeper and deeper truths of yourselves. In other words, you're going deeply. When you can do inner work in a community of people that are also highly sensitive, then it provides an extra layer of support because there's not going to be, there's not going to be any criticism coming from others. There's not going to be a misunderstanding. We get it. We are sensitive. We're able to hold the space for you so that you can go into what is maybe even painful or uncomfortable and work through that in a way that can leave you feeling freer. So being in a community of people where everyone is doing inner work and everyone is also highly sensitive can really reduce that feeling of vulnerability, that feeling of not being safe, and can provide a very safe holding place for you to do your inner work. This is what I've created at trueinnerfreedom.com, where we have a community of people. We practice the work of Byron Katie, and it's an amazing way of going in deeply and uncovering your stressful stories and then working through them and transforming them and expanding from there. And we have a community of people who are highly sensitive doing that. So it's like a really safe place for inner work. And that's why I love being in a community of highly sensitive people. First of all, highly sensitive people are interested in inner work. Secondly, we need inner work because we don't have a buffer. We can't just cover it over like some people can and just keep on functioning normally. We have to deal with our stuff because if we don't, it just shakes us and rocks us and we don't have any peace. So we're motivated to do inner work. And then when you're in a group of people that are also on the same wavelength and also super empathetic and sympathetic, it can allow for an extreme sense of safety for uncovering and exploring and expanding that inner side that is often covered up.